is seen now. The testimony is not of an academic. There are excellent articles and books about that written by academics, especially the book by Jeffrey and Lerner, Intellectual Property and its Discontents. But here you have a testimony of a businessman, and not any businessman. His name is Robert Barr, and he is Vice President and Worldwide Patent Council of Cisco Systems. Not many firms in the world are as innovative as Cisco Systems. You might think that they are specially attached to the protection of intellectual property. Yes, they are, but not any system of intellectual property. He has been asked to testify at a round table at the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, about the contradictions between competition policy and patent policy. And these are his words. An innovator asks two questions. First, can I get a patent on my invention? Second, do I infringe the patents of others? The answer I can give to the first question is too easy. Yes. I have not to examine your invention. You will get a patent. The answer to the second question, we are infringing, is much more difficult. As a practical matter, it's impossible to answer. It's impossible to know. If really you want to know, try, and probably you will go to the court, and maybe you will have to pay, well, of course, your legal fees, but also high fines if you are considered as an infringer. And he concludes, large companies, large corporations can deal with that situation, can even find benefits in that situation. Because it's not so much a question of money, it is a question that these companies have large portfolios of patents, and they can use strategically these portfolios to deal with other companies. And between them, they don't go to court. They compromise at the exchange. For small and middle-sized companies, it's possible. So they are deterred to invent. And he concludes, the system is on its head. Instead of being an incentive to invent, it is a deterrent. What can be done? Knowing that through the WTO, that system has been imposed on almost all countries in the world, because almost all countries are members of the WTO. And it is, especially when we are developing countries, it is often quite against their interest. Their interest at their state of development is to imitate, as the United States did imitate Britain, as then Germany did imitate the United States, and even Switzerland imitated Germany and didn't get a patent system between the 1970s, although it is now one of the largest and most efficient producer of pharmaceuticals. Not one system fits the interest of all. China understood that very well and signed, when entering the WTO, signed the TRIPS because it was a legal obligation, but never implemented that. And you can't say that this has deterred investment in China. China has received the bulk of investment from the West, even if they just don't apply the system for which we have signed. And it is in their interest. That might change when they become themselves more inventors than imitators. So various countries should be able to choose their degree of protection according to their degree of development. The legal obligations of TRIPS and WTO doesn't allow that. So it's a greater reason to think about transformation, reforms of the present system. It's important for development of a developing country. It's important for having a more sustainable development, and not only for our interests in the rich countries. It's in both, of course. So, briefly, I will mention 4 lines of reform. The first line is regulation, and in the matter of intellectual property, regulation means compulsory licenses. That's not very new. That can be used in emergencies, for example, health emergencies. It has been used by the United States for the anthrax a few years ago. But it has no systematic application. It cannot. It is it's the atom bomb, and you cannot use the atom bomb in any conflict. Second line of reform, which is much more promising and of large application, is the following. At the European Patent Office, which often just copies what the US Patent Office does, but there is a difference. The difference is that there is an opposition procedure. That means that if a patent is granted, and if somebody, an institution, a firm, thinks it has good reasons to contest that patent, it can go to the, let's say, the court inside. It's administrative, it's not legal. They can go to the court inside the European Patent Office and say, here is the evidence. Please re-examine on the basis of this evidence. Some of our colleagues, I think especially of Jean Tirole at Toulouse, I think also of Josh Lerner at the Harvard Business School, have proposed that it shouldn't be kept in a corner as just an opposition procedure. By the way, that opposition procedure succeeded to make the myriad genetics patents in Europe canon. But anyway, these economists say, don't wait that a patent is granted and then the contest. Do that at the moment where the patent is examined. It happens that that view, which is heretic for patent offices, that view has been exposed by businessmen, which is, of course, always very good help to what academics propose. And I will just mention one. And he is somebody which has a very, very great influence in business circles. His name is Robert Paulson. He is chairman of NFS Investment Management, and he has been vice chairman of Fidelity Investment. He knows a lot about investments in innovative activities and how to organize them. And this is what he says. It's a proposition to Congress. Patent examiners are not qualified to evaluate whether complex claims in biotech or physics meet the most critical tests, whether the claim is novel, relative to prior art, and whether this would be obvious to a person skilled in the art. So I hope that to fix this, Congress should pass an amendment allowing experts